At the other end of the kitchen, the pre-made pasta is poured into pans, topped with pesto Parmesan Alfredo sauce, and moved into a rotating oven to cook. Preparing this much food requires an incredible amount of organization, but not just today. A meal like this is planned out more than a month in advance.
We really want to work 6 to 8 weeks ahead and commit, we call it committing, our menu for that far in advance. Sometimes we'll find that in 8 weeks there's a holiday meal, so we need to make special preparations and changes to the menu for any special events that might be coming up.
And the recognition dinner is one of the most special meals of the year. In the front of the house, the dining area is prepped for the cadets. Back in the kitchen, onions, carrots, and mushrooms are cooked with a medley of seasonings for the vegetarian beef stew, while the rest of the staff strains 788 pounds of vegetables and moves them into hot carts for dinner service. As cadets begin filing into the dining hall, freshmen, known as fourth-year cadets, typically have to pass out plates and silverware for the table. After that, the fourth years read and study the Air Force Academy handbook, known as contrails, as they wait to be seated, while upperclassmen quiz them. Tonight, the fourth years become fully recognized members of the cadet wing and will no longer have to perform these duties.
So during the year of freshman year, we're required to come in here, and after everything's set up, we have to hold our contrails at the position of attention and study them. So they make us do this, to form discipline because we're standing at attention, holding our arms up. So on Saturday night, it's a fun tradition to come in and have your upperclassmen do that with random objects. And then you can ask them questions like they would with us, with our knowledge. We're like yelling at them in a fun manner, and it's just a really cool experience, tradition that we do.
Before dinner ends, the wait staff brings out Mitch's Mountains, a dessert made earlier in the week by upperclassmen, just for today's occasion.
The Mitch's workers came in and they brought us these boxes, and we're like, oh, what's that? Then they open them, and it's just this pile of dessert. And so it's pound cake on the bottom, topped with a bunch of scoops of ice creams and whipped cream and cherries, and American flags on top to celebrate our country. And so that was one of the cool experiences for us as freshmen.
After the meal, the staff in charge of the recognition dinner head home. In just 8 hours, a fresh team of cooks will arrive to prepare the next meal.
Good morning. Our head count for today has gone back down. We had to increase because of the weekend for recognition. So breakfast, we have scrambled eggs, bacon, and the roundabout hash browns. Let's have a good shift.
This morning, the cooks only have 2.5 hours to prepare breakfast for 1,500 students. It's a smaller meal because, unlike most lunches during the week, cadets aren't required to attend. But it's still a challenge to finish on time.
The biggest challenge that we have right now is making sure that we have enough staff on hand to make sure that the job gets done on a daily basis. We are open 7 days a week, and we do serve 3 meals per day, so the work never stops.
Like many other kitchens, Mitchell Hall is still recovering from a staffing shortage caused by the pandemic. The 8 cooks on staff for this meal boil 375 pounds of pre-cooked scrambled eggs, heat up 90 pounds of bacon, and cook 560 pounds of hash browns in an industrial-sized fryer known as the Monster.
As our staffing dwindled, we've had to go to a lot of pre-done convenience items. For instance, boil-in-a-bag mashed potatoes, boil-in-a-bag mac and cheese. It's a very time-saving opportunity for us with the short staff that we have.
It's a proven method for serving large quantities of nutritious food with only a handful of cooks. The staff will spend the majority of their time transferring breakfast items into pans, where they will be set on the serving line for cadets to grab and go or dine in. But just as breakfast is being served, lunch prep is already underway.
So lunch today, the cadets are getting what we call the California burger. They're getting waffle fries today. Again, they get run through our monster deep fryer as well. And we got the lettuce, tomato, onion kits that come in fresh, and those get placed on the table as well.
On Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, there's no room for error in preparing the lunch meal. All 4,000 cadets are required to dine in at Mitchell Hall, and they're only given 20 minutes to eat.
There's only about a 30-minute window that they have between classes. Then right after that, they're going to another class of military training. So there's only a small window built in for them to eat in Mitchell Hall.
That limits their options. We can't provide endless options in a meal like that, so they do get their one main option. We usually have a lean protein option for them, and then we have a vegetarian option, and that's it. Where at like a traditional college, you're gonna go in and you're gonna have different types of cuisines available. We don't have that necessarily here. I think it's just the scale that we serve on is the biggest difference in how we provide food to our cadets.
Prepping the burger patties for 4,000 cadets takes about 4 hours. Cooks start by laying out the pre-cooked patties on a tray before moving them into the oven to heat up. In another part of the kitchen, cooks work together to feed 1,700 pounds of waffle fries into the deep fryer conveyor belt. As the fries exit, they are immediately put into pans that are later loaded into hot carts. Meanwhile, vegetables are boiled and seasoned in 2 100-gallon kettles.
So what we have here is our 100-gallon steam jacketed kettles. We cook a very diverse amount of product through here. Right now we're doing Italian vegetables. That's one of the vegetables for lunch service today. Typically on veg, we'll do about 200 pounds worth of vegetables for a lunch service.
On the lower level of the kitchen, staff works to wash, chop, and pack fruits and vegetables for meals planned later in the week. Prepping food days in advance allows staff to seamlessly serve thousands of required meals.
There's a buffalo chicken wrap, buffalo chicken tenders with vegetarians, waffle fries.
But even more crucial to their efficiency is planning the menu weeks in advance and storing the meals in the dining facility's 20,000 square foot warehouse.
When we are ordering foods, that order goes in all at the same time for the whole week. They get put into a category, and depending on that category is the day that they arrive.
Once everything comes up the elevator, we'll separate it and take it to wherever it needs to be. We have 4 storage departments: the warehouse, the freezer, meat, and dairy.
While the warehouse staff takes inventory and stocks next week's food, the kitchen staff is wrapping up lunch, moving the last few batches of food onto warming trays. Outside,